Are we ready to go? Are we going to dive straight in? Yeah, I think it has actually been quite beneficial in a way, just because we were gigging quite a lot. We had a lot of songs, and we didn't really have a lot of it recorded, and we were kind of, I don't know, we were kind of just in this perpetual cycle of gigging and playing, and just sort of enjoying that, and not really being productive or as productive in the other side of things. So
yeah, we sort of probably weren't paying the right amount of attention to it, really, were we?
Yeah, it's just, I mean, it's what's been good about that history is that we've played a lot, and I think we've gotten quite good as a band. Sort of, we've learned how to play well live and all of that thing. But then, kind of looking at our kind of branding or social media, or just what we've got out there, that if you were to search us, that represents who we are, it's like quite thin on the ground.
Yeah.
So we've kind of just managed to take a step back and just sort of go, okay, let's work on that, and it's been good. And I've been quite lucky kind of in timings as well, because sort of in between lockdowns or just before lockdown, like when there's that little perineum of time in between the two lockdowns or before, we had all these kind of recordings that we did that were like unmixed and had loads of stuff kind of ready to go. So it's all the production and all the kind of work that we needed to do towards the releases of that we could do in isolation and not have to really get together for it as well. So we kind of had the stuff there, and we just needed to parcel it up and give it to you. Yeah.
Yeah, we were lucky, I think, in that regard as well. We only needed, there was a couple, like we did some recording of the vocals of the most recent single, Suffering Safari. Like we had to do some of the backing vocals we recorded at our guitar player's house, just like in his bedroom and stuff.
Yeah.
But apart from that, we've managed to kind of get into studios and stuff and did everything. Like we even managed to, was it either this year or last year, was like we did like a little tour, didn't we, in February, like before everything went, like everything completely shut down, which again we were really lucky to be able to do, actually get out there and do some gigging like earlier on in the year. Yeah. And of course when that dried up, it was sort of time to think about, like you said, getting music out, really, because for a band it's like quite an important, there's so much, isn't there, that it comes with, but having music out, you'd think that would be the primary thing, but maybe we should record some of it. Yeah, maybe we should record and release some music. Yeah, what with Big Abandonable.
That might be a good idea.
But we kind of had a lot of other aspects covered.
Yeah. So yeah, it's been good. I think it's been good, really.
During that shoot, there was a big scare. It was just
oh god,
it was really bad, wasn't it?
It actually made me feel sick just thinking about it just then.
It was just a lack of communication to sort of to film it, because we had the idea to kind of film that kind of execution in one shot. So you see it in the video, I'm kind of up on the stool, and then the camera drops and you just see my skinny little legs.
We thought it was really important to get that as a one shot, so the face singing, his hands down like this, and then the camera pans down, and then you see his legs on the chair, and then someone kicks it as one, so it looks like it's really real. But what we had, am I overtaking it?
Yeah, a little bit.
Sorry,
that's all right.
To go on. No, sorry, I'll just go through the logistics of it, and then you tell me about your experience. Okay. All right. So what we did, right, is like we had like a thing up, we had a noose there, and then also we had a thing that you could hang on. So we were kind of directing the cameraman and the guy up there, kind of keeping the slack on the noose. So it was like face, pan down until you can't see his hands. Then he can lift his hands up and take the weight on his arms, and then kick the stool. So he's taking the weight on his arms, and then the noose is slack there. But
we didn't, well, there wasn't enough communication, and I hadn't managed to hold on to the rope properly, because it had kind of fallen back on this kind of bar, so I hadn't yet reached this thing to kind of take the weight. And it was our guitar player that was that was his. It was his role to.
Well, I've always thought he's had it out for Charlie. I've always thought he was trying to kill him.
It was his role to come and kick, really showed his true colours. But I hadn't held on to this rope in time, and he came up and started to kick the stool, and I went no like that. But he hadn't. He was kind of already. He already had a kick.
The thing is, right, we've done it a few times, and we were doing it to the beat of the song. We were trying to do it. We wanted to kick it in time with this beat. And so Charlie was going, no, I haven't held on to it. No. But Franklin was so like entrenched in the idea of getting his timing of the kick right anyway to the beat. He wasn't even listening to him going, no. He went, no, kicked it. Luckily, my housemate, Tim Brown, slackened the noose. He was in control of that. It was like the fallback emergency situation, slack the noose, and you just fell down to the floor and nothing happened. But if he didn't have his wits about him, Tim Brown was slack. I don't know, man. You could be.
There was nothing really dangerous in this one, was there?
No.
I had to paint. I painted all the lyrics out onto these big sheets that we had onto the walls. But I kind of that was that.
That wasn't very dangerous.
It wasn't very dangerous.
I mean, you did do your back in a little bit, because it took a while.
It took so long. As soon as I started painting this. Like as soon as I started painting the verse out, I sort of realised I had to do it really high up, and I was like, "This is the wordiest song in the world. Like it's a fucking essay, you know." And I've just got to write all of this out. And I was even like times when I was sort of
I like how you realised that as you were filming.
Well, because the opening line in the point is ruinously, and I was like,
how do you spell that?
Is that fucking O before? I don't know. What you think to like doing it? Franklin would be like. There's a U in torture. I'm like, oh, fuck's sake. And there's an I in team, apparently.
But yeah. But I think it's really cool. We kind of came up with the idea for the video really last minute, because we kind of initially weren't going to have a video. And then we decided, we kind of thought, actually, no, it would be really important. You're kind of closing off quite a lot of potential press or whatever. By not having a video, so we're like, let's do one. We kind of whip one up really quickly. And it was kind of Charlie's idea, Charlie and Franklin's idea, really, like to do it. We wanted to focus on the lyrics this time because the lyrics are really good. Charlie's lyrics are really good. Well, Charlie writes the lyrics, and so he has the deep understanding, I suppose, of what they're about. However, we all hang out with each other a lot, and kind of, when I hear them, I can kind of see where he's coming from, even if they might be kind of abstract. I think I know him well enough to kind of know what you were thinking at the time, or feeling at the time.
I definitely get that vibe off you guys.
Yeah, I think the lyrics are sometimes. They can be, what's the word, when you can take them in different ways depending on how you're listening to them or who you are, do you know what I mean? People can interpret them probably in different ways, but I think I get it. And I think it's important. You should know the lyrics of you should know what it's about, and that will make me play the drums kind of different, you kind of just subconsciously will sort of get into that space. And if it's an angry song, I probably wouldn't think about it, but probably just give it the drums a bit more anger here and there, or what, it's you need to get into that little world. I think is important. I think that Adam Levine thing, that's like a personal thing about it, but that's his ignorance. That's nothing to do with labels or whatever, because there's loads of amazing artists out there. Literally off the top of my head, Flea from the Red Hot Chili Peppers, right? He's always championing new bands. Do you know what I mean? He's just like, and he's really famous. What? Don't laugh. He's laughing because I love the Chili's. But like,
I love the Chili's.
Yeah, you love that. I love the Chili's.
I love that you love them more.
But my point is, it's like that. You don't. It's just because you're not in that world doesn't mean that you can't make the effort. If you've got some responsibility or platform to champion and support and promote new bands.
Yeah, it says more about him as well. And I think with that, there was definitely an element of like, obviously, the industry is like a bit fucked here and there. Same as like any industry is, you know, it's got every industry, I think, has its kind of dark corners that are kind of, you know, no one really talks about and stuff. But in that regard with the Levine stuff, it was just like, all right, mate, don't keep bringing it up. We're fucking trying here.
Yeah.
It's like on a DZ.
Yeah.
For someone that's in Maroon 5 to kind of say those kind
Yeah.
of things. They're obviously doing something right.
Yeah. I wish I was in Maroon 5.
Yeah, well, you know, don't be careful what you wish for. Because I could be slagging your comments off in an interview in a few months' time.
Yeah. I mean, but I don't even know what is the pop limelight really. Well, I don't even understand what it is. Like, what is it? The stuff on the radio? And yeah, you're right. And there's no kind of like there was back in the day. There was one platform where you kind of aspired to be, and it was like, what, Top of the Pops, be on the telly, be on the radio. That's your platform to go onto. But now there's like a million platforms, and you can be like really famous or really successful on just sort of one bit of it, and have
well received.
Have your little your loyal niche.
So like if YouTube for whatever reason decided to just shut up shop, like the amount of people that wouldn't be famous anymore.
Yeah.
Like that it's kind of based on a website.
Yeah.
Like through that website you can kind of have it all, but then as soon as what about if your electric runs out?
Then what?
Then you what have you got then? Like no one's you're still doing the same things, just haven't got people watching you. It'd probably be a realization maybe. I don't know. I think a little bit. I think
it's a good question.
It is a good question, actually. I think some of like a lot of the bands that we take inspiration from definitely have that kind of classic. That I suppose that's the kind of best word for it. That kind of sexy rock kind of. But it was sort of like you were saying about your cat. You know, like it can be sort of kind of feline and sort of like salacious, but also at the same time it can be kind of aggressive. You know. And I think there's definitely an element of that in our music.
Yeah, definitely.
And we haven't yet done a music video that hasn't featured bed sheets in one way or another. So,
yeah.
With the name of the Freights and stuff, it was more we were just trying to, at the time we kind of needed a band name, you know, and we kind of wanted something that was a quite sort of unfashionable, almost like it's got at the beginning of it, and it's kind
because
of
around
it's a bit of a 60s kind of callback, and it doesn't really mean that much. It's kind of like sometimes when you write a song or something, for instance, like it's not until upon reflection you kind of realize kind of what it was about. And it's a similar thing with the Dead Freights. It's not like we've come to this realization what the name means, but we kind of we like the idea of the freight train, you know, and it's always moving, like sometimes fast and sometimes slow, but like it's always chugging along, you know.
Yeah.
And that's sort of imagery we've kind of ran with.
I remember like when we were, because there's loads of bands that are just like one word with no the or whatever. It's just like,
or you got to like,
I don't know, like crab.
Yeah.
For example.
And you've got to put,
you know what I mean, in capital letters. The backwards A.
Yeah, the A is like a V.
Yeah,
and there's one of those like Spanish exclamation points at the beginning of it, upside down. You know,
yeah,
it's really trendy.
But then, like the bands that we like, you know, the Beatles.
I like because the Dead was like taken from the Grateful Dead. You know,
yeah.
That's where that sort of element came into it. But it's like we used to before when we were playing up when we first started doing sort of shows as the Dead Freights, the music was like a lot more sort of skiffily and like had a lot more sort of 60s kind of callbacks and like a lot of kind of harmonies and these kind of ragtime tunes.
Yeah, we did a lot more kind of,
and we'd like we'd sort of show up to these shows and we'd have like, you know, like full drum kit and stuff, and we'd have this sort of sign that said like the Dead Freights on it, and sort of we looked really, really rock band. And then we'd start playing these little love songs with these like 3-part harmonies in, and I can just imagine it seeming quite incongruous.
Yeah.
I think like people do, we've kind of grown into our name.
Yeah,
you know?
It's been a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yeah, exactly. We named it and then we worked out what it was about. But like it's kind of but obviously when we get asked that, like, oh, what's the name? Where did you get it from? Like, it's not really from anywhere. Maybe I could start Breaking Bad.
We have said about the like kind of the connotations with freights and like the freight. Is there like freights in a because we're in Southampton, like a port town?
Yeah.
There's the dead freight is like an empty container. Fact, it's like an empty container.
I saw someone put something about it on Facebook, because like I hope other people do. Sometimes I just Google the dead freights and see what people have been saying.
Yeah.
Only when look, I've been locked in my room for a year, mate, you know. cut me some slack. Someone had written a post about it saying something or other, and then someone had commented saying, "Oh, the dead freights, that's a good name for a band from the south." And I was like, oh yeah, no, it is because of the port thing, and they sort of worked that one out. I was like, well done, that man.
Yeah.
I could just say that I'm a massive Breaking Bad fan, or I started the band to come out of my meth addiction.
It is one of those. I think that is a good description of like that you were saying is because lots of amazing bands don't really have the best names, but they kind
of
like
your favorite, the Red Hot Chili Peppers,
e.g. But it's a good point.
Yeah, no,
it's a good like because it's kind of.
Like the Arctic Monkeys is like a rubbish name, isn't it? It's like school.
But then the music just kind of supersedes the name, and then when you relate as a listener, you relate the name to the music, and they're a cool, really amazing, awesome band. But if you never heard of the Arctic Monkeys, this is going to go out like we're slacking off the Arctic Monkeys.
I think you just got to listen to our music. Oh yeah, we've probably got a couple actually.
I'm going to let you.
Did you hear that the Wizard shop closed down due to a staff shortage?
Good.
That's one of mine.
I've never. Have you heard? Did you make that?
That's one of mine.
Have you got another one? You've got loads.
Yeah, I do actually. I was going to write.
He's got like he loves.
Yeah. I was going to write a sitcom about a cabin crew. Only got as far as the pilot.
Oh.
It's another one of mine.
Yeah,
you know,
that's great.
Yeah, that should be the headline.
Another one of mine. That's our album title. Come on, you must have one more hat trick.
Yeah, I've got to go for the hat trick, haven't I? Have you seen all those dead bees on the floor recently?
Buzzkill. Oh, here we go.
There you go.
Here we go. Here we go. That's the kind of shit. He should be on Radio 4. Well, we're a very much live get together kind of band, and we kind of get. I mean, quite a lot of the process will be lyrics and then kind of an idea musically, but then just quite quickly take that loose idea and get it together, and we'll kind of play around it and jam it quite a lot, and it changes quite a lot. But we definitely just, you know, get the energy off each other.
We all
in the room.
We all contribute, I think, to that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been because obviously we've had a new bass player, Dan. He hasn't been playing with us for very long, has he?
No, and we haven't really managed to properly play with him in a band practice or or a gig.
Everything's under control. Like he knows what he needs to know.
He knows the songs.
He knows the songs like the back of his hand.
Yeah.
So
but you need to gig with someone for a while, don't you, to really break them in.
So I think maybe that was like, I know we're talking about like lockdown being a really productive time, but maybe that's like the one kind of hindrance of it. It's like we haven't been able to play as much with Dan as we'd like to, but it's, you know, starting to change and stuff. And he's like been really he's been great in terms of sort of like writing and stuff. He's been bringing musical ideas sort of to the table and stuff, and picks things up pretty fast. Like, yeah, that's been really good actually.
Yeah.
But, I want you on some lyrics, Duarte.
Yeah.
I want to hear what's going on in there. Wrote songs, it would sound like You do write songs, but if you wrote, if you were to record, I think it would sound something like Eels. I think I'd get a proper Eels vibe, like production, sort of like quite heartfelt, but quite simply put lyrics.
Yeah, simple lyrics.
I can imagine you
kind of happy, sad.
Yeah. I don't write songs, but if I did, it would sound
Yeah,
just like it.
yeah. I've never written a song before. However, one of the greatest songwriters of all time, Mark Everett, I reckon I'd sound like him.
I think you would, mate. I think you have a nice Mark Everett vibe.
Yeah. But yeah, to answer the question, definitely we get together in the room and we play it, and then you often realize how you kind of have to, I think you have to gig it and play it in front of people, because it kind of feels different when you do that, and then you come back and then you tweak it judged on your experience from the gig, and that kind of almost, that's the final, and then good, now we're ready. I don't really like recording songs that we've not gigged before.
Daunting, isn't it?
I don't like doing that. We've done it before and it's worked quite well, but then it feels like sometimes when you record it, that's the end of the evolution of the writing process, because you put it down. But I think the writing process, for example, in Suffering Safari, our most recent one, that one took one of the longest periods of time to write out of any of the songs, and we kind of just had it there in the back burner, and we'd come back to it, we'll play it, and we kind of forget how we played it before and play it slightly differently, and then you only kind of play it like the last time you remembered it, and then we listened to an old recording of it and it's like, shit, it's completely different, but we didn't even realize that we were changing it and evolving it. And we played it live a couple of times, and then we really just knew it and then recorded it, and it seemed like a really good process. I feel like if we'd recorded that song in particular early without having played it a lot, it would have stunted its growth.
Yeah, I feel that now. Yeah, I think as well with Suffering, it was like, because we'd arranged it, we had like over the course of like a year or something, we must have had at least like 10 different versions of it that we play slightly different live and stuff every time. I always thought, when I just my sort of initial thoughts on Suffering, when I think about it as a song, I just think it sounds like a sort of jam almost, like doesn't have that much structure to it. But then when it's being like mixed and then mastered, and I sort of got it back and was listening to it, it made a lot more sense.
Yeah.
Sort of as a kind of, just when I was as a kind of acting as like a third party, just listening to it.
Yeah, stepping outside of it.
In the right, from writing point of view, I was like, oh man, that song doesn't really have any kind of structure, or it just sounds like it's just a constant kind of weaving thing. But then it's like, it's pretty verse chorusy, mate, for us.
Yeah,
I'd say.
Yeah, it has got a structure. I really need a wee. Can we take a short break? You've got my bladders back. Yeah.
You've got my bladders back.
I really don't think I should write any songs, because you think they're going to sound good like the Eels. And that is, sometimes you should not look at your potential. You should just leave it, because it's potential.
Yeah.
It's potential. Just leave it.
Yeah.
Because when you actually open up the door to your potential, it might not be what you expect.
Quote him on that.
Yeah. Never do your potential, ever, because when it's potential, it's amazing, because it's potential.
For fuck's sake.
Yeah, bit of that. Pinky in the brain.
You're the brain.
Yeah. Well, I'm the little one.
Fair enough.
The little guy.
Yeah.
We've got another song that we're going to record and release quite soon called Batman. It's amazing. It's a great song. We've got a demo of it on our Instagram page. It's just like an Instagram TV live demo thing on our reel. But it's really good. And the Libertines guy, manager,
the Albion Rooms.
The Albion Rooms guy.
When they did their live stream.
The Libertines did a live stream, and they played our live recording of Batman on their kind of live stream gig, lockdown gig, which is great.
Yeah, that's going to be the next.
So
it's not because of that.
Not because of that, but it's nice that the Libertines did like.
It's all, we've already got a market approval.
Yeah, because sometimes even though you know it,
if whoever wants their Instagram page, isn't it? Presumably not them.
Yeah. So that's immediately we're going to record an album as well, which we were planning on having the album done by now, but we haven't been able to go into the studio yet properly. So there'll be an album
we've
soon.
got we've got like gig announcements and stuff as well. So we're doing a headline show at our sort of local, which is the Joiners down in Southampton.
The Joiners, legendary and prestigious venue, the Joiners.
Yeah, it's kind of it's our old favourite, really. I think we haven't. It was supposed to be actually the show was supposed to be our album launch for the records that we haven't managed to record yet. But I thought like we kind of came to the conclusion that everyone's had such enough time without shows and stuff like that. And we sort of thought, even though there's not going to be a record there, like we'd still have a party and just do a great show. You know, we've got a really good support.
Yeah.
Announcement as well. I'm not sure. We might be able to. Could we say it now?
Well, we're gonna announce our support on Friday, aren't we?
Yeah. I think we're announcing our support on Friday.
We'll just say we've got we've got the Skinner brothers supporting us, really good, and then because they're absolutely smashing it.
Yeah,
they've got loads of Radio 6 playing stuff.
Yeah,
Steve Lamack is playing them all the time. It's really cool.
Yeah, there's some potentially some more shows with them.
And more shows with them in August.
I said potentially, Lewis.
Don't say. I don't know why. Why is it a secret? I don't know. I never understand why. I don't even know why. Let's not announce it yet. What?
I can see that you don't understand why it's because there's some.
I'm a very open guy.
2 words for you, mate. Marketing strategy. Yeah,
yeah. It's probably yeah.
But yeah,
I've never had much success with marketing strategy.
No, I can see that.
Can barely say it. Can barely bloody say it. I think suits and uniforms, thumbs up, definitely. Safari suits, I don't know.
Well, we got sent. Do you remember we got sent on Instagram? It was an artist, a friend of ours that follows us on Insta, and she sent a load of those. They were kind of like gifts, like, and it was like me and you in safari suits. Do you remember this?
Yeah,
this was like a couple of weeks ago.
So yeah.
It was really cool. She's like taken our faces from photographs and kind of like drawn them into these two. They're really good. Like, we should do something with those. So there's like, whether we like it or not, we're in safari suits. So whether we give it a thumbs up or down or not, we're getting. It looks like we're loving it.
Well, we done a photo shoot and we're kind of toying with a new thing that when we might wear on stage, where we're all wearing the same stripy blue blazers. Yeah. They look kind of like quite preppy. They're really preppy kind of college blazers, but like quite like the idea of us kind of dirty scoundrels in these kind of preppy college blazers.
We got them from the Beatnik Emporium, which is like a really good vintage place in Southampton.
They're just amazing. It's just like a local.
It's like an
small business that supports the fuck out of us and other musicians.
And it's like an Aladdin's cave, isn't it, of like vintage clothes? Yeah, it's really cool there. But they we got these.
I got this Ian Jury t-shirt from there.
Very nice. What does it say on it?
It says, "Right, have been some clever bastards.
Lucky bleeders." But the jackets we got, they're like blue stripy. They're like Bolton University. Like what's it? Like some sort of club.
It's like it looks like a kind of.
We sort of look at because of the blue, we look a bit like a Tory dining club, which is the opposite of what we're trying to project. But then I think we can pull them off.
I just like the idea that we're all wearing the same. I like the uniform. It feels unifying. Yeah, it's kind of cool. But then it's also a little bit of a play on the surfing safari thing. You know, Beach Boys and all those kind of bands, classic bands, kind of had a look and were dressed the same. And
yeah, I'll bring it in.
He's going to get them. Which is it like the old Tesco value colours? I don't know. I don't know if they're the same colour. I haven't been to Tesco for a while. No, they're kind of yellow stripes in them. Yeah, under the.
So I mean, I still got the slightly bigger one here.
I don't know even this is, it's like early days with this. We don't really know what we're doing. We're just stoked that we've got 4 of the same thing. Like it doesn't. It could be anything. Bye 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 bye.